Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening. This is just so special for us. Real quick before we get started, if anyone thought about how this video would start, if they thought about that a year and a half ago, you would fully expect to see video of our launch, followed by a video of Frank's launch. And like Steve alluded to, you're not going to see that because our rocket hit a bridge, and Frank's didn't, or maybe it did. Maybe it did. It was Russian, so it would take the bridge out anyway. So you'll see his launch first, followed by ours. He beat us up there by a couple weeks, and then, like you've heard, we beat him home by a lot. Really sorry, Dad. Really, really sorry. And in fact, Koichi probably got a sixth mission in there in that time. But we're just so excited to be able to share this with all of you. This is, we don't do this for ourselves, we do this to be part of something so much bigger than us. So thank you for being here, and we're excited to roll the video.
Hey, thanks so much, Josh, and I think we should just let you talk the whole time. Hey, launch is a culmination of many years of hard work. And more than anything, it's an incredible contribution to the team that trained us, prepared us, and our family that supports us. And so it's just an amazing experience, a beautiful experience, but more than anything, it makes you so incredibly grateful for the people that support you. I was also lucky enough to have two awesome crewmates, and it was such an honor to once again essentially be a part of the mission that represented our two nations working, our two space programs working together again after about a year hiatus. That was also probably one of the highlights of the entire mission, and an incredible honor. My understanding is that it was a beautiful launch. Couldn't see any of it. I think because of the time of day and how it played out, it was awesome. And then, honestly, one of the things I had been most looking forward to was getting to the space station, not because I was in space, but seeing my friends and being able to open that hatch and have Chell, Farmer, Wadi, and the rest of the crew waiting there was just honestly one of the biggest highlights. And giving those hugs and not throwing up while you're giving those hugs really, quite a huge plus. And so again, thank you to everybody who helps to get us there, and what an incredible team effort.
Elvis has entered the ISS.
Still learning to fly. And yes, the Russians have a slightly different taste of in style, but it was an amazing flight. Nicole.
Taking their first steps outside as they head to the pad. There they go. The rocket recline.
It was pretty good.
And here we go, the first two astronauts to board Crew Dragon. On the left, Josh Cassada, and on the right, Commander Nicole Mayer. And here come our second two astronauts, mission specialists Koichi Wakata and Anna Keegan.
Special thanks on behalf of all the crew to our family and friends. It's your love and support that help make dreams come true. Now let's do this. Pre-shot displays are configured for launch.
Call this little guy our free fall indicator. We're here to tell you there's plenty of gravity up here. In fact, that's what's keeping us in orbit right now.
The moon in the farthest first one through the hatch is going to be Nicole Mann, commander of Dragon. Next one through the hatch is Josh Cassida, the pilot of Dragon. Koichi Okada of Jackson coming through the hatch. And last but not least, Anna Kikina from Roscosmos just entered the International Space Station. And Crew 5 is officially into their home for the next 6 months, the International Space Station.
Okay, so now that we were finally on board, it was time to get to work, right, sir? Our primary objective on board is science. This floating micro-G laboratory can do so many things we can't do on Earth. A lot of the science we do is on our own bodies. Some is technology development. So this is AstroBees, little robots that navigate off each other and can navigate in the module. The future of exploration will be humans and robots working together. We also looked at different types of yogurt and yeast. For those missions to the moon and beyond, we need to be able to supplement our diet. We did a lot of science. You can see Frank working here on materials, on different flames and how they behave in microgravity. Because there's no density gradients, no heat gradients, a lot of the science is just simply not possible here on planet Earth. Here you can see Koichi working on a deployer for CubeSats. We deployed CubeSats, including the first from Uganda, while we were on board. These study not only space, but also our planet to learn more about our planet and how we can take care of it.
Plants that are exposed to the stress in space undergoes epigenetic changes. That is additional information to the DNA. And this experiment checks if these additional information to the DNA is transmitted to the next generation through seeds. And we did a variety of vegetable growth experiments. This is Veggie 5 experiments. Frank is working on it. And this addresses the need for the closed loop continuous fresh food production. There were some cases that the tomato went missing, and all of us had to look for them, but I swear it wasn't me who ate them. And this is the new generation water recycle system experiment that we need for the Moon and Mars mission, where we need to have where the system should be smaller and requires less power and produces a higher percentage of recycle of the water. And we did a lot of technical demonstration for the future missions.
So this is the biofabrication facility we talked about earlier. During quarantine, my sons and I built a 3D printer, so it was super cool to get up there and be able to work with this. Of course, it's different here. You don't need the support structure to keep it from toppling over. We didn't actually interact with the AMS directly, but we also didn't interact with the Cold Atom Lab. But we did install some solar arrays that we like to think contribute to both of these super cool experiments, both in high energy physics and quantum mechanics. And we did that by installing these solar arrays. Our first spacewalk here started in the middle of November. When we got into spacewalk season, Koichi and Nicole did all the heavy lifting, so to speak, to get us out the door for me and Frank to build this first mod kit. I'll tell you, during training, you can get banged up a little bit, and I'll tell you what, I think all four of us can say a heartfelt thank you to Danielle Anderson for helping us when we needed to get fixed and actually got us to a spot where we were even a little bit stronger than we started on launch day. So here in this one, Nicole is flying me into position, and Frank and I are going to work hard here to get it installed. It threw us a couple curveballs early on, but then Frank persuaded it and kept it mostly PG.
We were all watching. Nice work. Copy, we see the release and deployment.
Second post release. Iverson now deploying.
when we got back into space, or back into the airlock, I'll tell you, that was just an emotional experience. I don't think you're supposed to cry in the spacesuit, so we don't call it allergies, but overwhelming day.
Josh and Frank had 3 very successful spacewalks, followed by a lot of allergies. And then it was time for Koichi and I to go out the door, and we installed 2 mod kits to support solar arrays that were installed last summer. You can see Koichi and I here working together on the upper triangle of the support structure. Unfortunately, on that first EVA, we ran into some interference with installing the strut, and so we went out the door in the second EVA, and here Koichi successfully got that side strut installed thanks to help from a huge team on the ground to come up with troubleshooting techniques. So a great example of the ground and astronauts working together in space to overcome a challenge.
Will be operating the Russian from a Russian work station, the European robotic arm, after standing by.
So in mid-December, after our first spacewalk, unfortunately, this might look like Christmas in space, but this is when the Soyuz was struck by the micrometeorite, and that's the coolant essentially leaving the vehicle. You know, it actually was not as traumatic for the crew as it might seem. We essentially were woken up in the middle of the night for what we thought was a pressure anomaly on station. And I basically flew over to check and make sure that the hatch hadn't been accidentally closed in the Soyuz, because we thought at that time that it was an internal problem. Everything looked good, and we essentially went back to bed and slept perfectly well for the rest of the night. And then woke up to the news that, hey, your Soyuz isn't quite working right. But again, it was an opportunity to see the incredible work that a team can come together and make happen. And it was just really pretty amazing to watch the solution that the ground team came up with.
So on the topic of maintenance, just like at home, things break, things need to get upgraded. It's a lot more fun on orbit because you've got an entire team working on the same problem with you. And you get feedback like that. And then this is some maintenance that nobody intended for us to do. I remember being on ARED, and this was before our first spacewalk, and Frank was working on those spacesuits, and he went to turn on the fan for my suit, and it didn't turn on, and he made the call down, which I was pretty sure was he was taking over the EVA and was going to put somebody else in my spot. But they did. They cut us loose, and Duke and I were able to successfully replace this fan pump separator, and we didn't lose any pieces that you're aware of. It worked out great. You were in this one for your spacewalk, so it worked out great.
So again, one of the coolest experiences is just being able to touch different parts of the station that may not have been open for long periods of time, and just perform the maintenance. And again, I think we keep reiterating how cool it is to work with the ground team, but it really is a unique dynamic where you are the hands and eyes, but the ground team is putting together this amazing plan that you're able to then execute and get some pretty incredible things accomplished.
And
Now,
every time we see one of those racks get rotated,
then,
we're all looking
if
for
you want inspiration, you look at Koichi's guns. And that's enough said there. But you can run really fast in space. And, the lack of gravity helps. You can see that there's a seat missing on the bike, and that's just because you don't need one. You're essentially just supporting yourself with your arms to keep yourself from essentially floating forward as you're pedaling.
Physics is cool in space. How much more mass does Josh have than I do? Conservation of linear momentum.
I'm a big fan of baseball. This year's Major League Baseball MVP Shohei Ohtani can throw a pitch and hit, but in 0G you can throw a pitch, fly faster than the ball, and you can hit the ball, and not only that, you can fly again faster than the ball, and you can catch it in 0G.
So even though we worked hard, we had a lot of time floating around. Josh was the best flyer. You see his little Superman sock. This is just a regular ball of water. I think it's so cool because it looks like some goo, it's alive. So of course we put food coloring in it, and then an Alka-Seltzer to see what would happen. We wanted to see the bubbles pop, and you could see parts of little liquid flying away. So then, of course, the next obvious step is to smash your face into the ball of water. And you can see it sticks to my face like some kind of slime or something. But I forgot that I put the Alka-Seltzer in there, and it went right up my nose. It was not real good.
We have to continue to do the normal things, just kind of in an abnormal way. It took me a couple weeks to figure out that I could create a mobile jacuzzi. I would take warm water and put it on my back, and surface tension would just keep it there. And then I did my little jacuzzi dance, and it would just kind of move around and do its thing. Here's Nicole going into her CQ. She and I both used meditation apps on board, actually different meditation apps, and I will tell you there was 100% true. There was one breakfast where she came out and she said, "You won't believe what happened to me," and I said, "You won't believe what happened to me." And we both heard on our meditation app, "Close your eyes. Imagine that you're floating in space." Here, you know, we were up there for the holidays, and I will say it really did have this really holiday feel. It was incredible. So we made pizza, and you're probably going to want to hear this. And then you got to make it a challenge for your buddy.
We are actually very mature.
And then this one, she's a great white. Watch this.
Yeah, Kublai is a very favorite place for us on board the station. Frank looks so happy to see the beautiful home planet. Looking at the daytime of the Earth, we can feel the power of nature. Looking at the clouds, sometimes hurricanes, and then volcano eruption, and it's amazing this power of the nature. And we go around the Earth every 90 minutes, so we see sunsets and sunrise 16 times a day. And the sunrise and sunsets are also spectacular when you look at from the Earth orbit. And this is just amazing. We're so lucky to have this wonderful home planet. Sunrise, sunsets happen so quickly, like this, and it's so spectacular. And when you look at the night side of the Earth, contrary to the daytime side, I can feel the power of human technology, the lights of the cities, and I can really feel the massive consumption of the energy of humankind looking at the night side. One night, Josh and Duke found beautiful aurora borealis over Canada, the Northern Pacific and North America area. And thanks to the wonderful instruction of these photo TV folks, they were able to capture this fantastic view of the aurora borealis with the interpolarimetry photography.
It was actually a half-day Tuesday. Thank you, Joel. After working through the weekend, that's how we got that shot.
We had two spacecraft visit during Expedition 68, and this is the SS Sally Ride, which is Cygnus, and you can see one of its solar arrays here didn't deploy. We almost lost the spacecraft and all the science and food and everything on board, but fortunately the team on the ground north of Grumman worked together with NASA to overcome this challenge. They were still able to get the station or the spacecraft up there. We lost some of the science, unfortunately, but they preserved the mission and it was successful.
And the ice cream was still okay.
It was still frozen-ish, right?
Continuing to get HD news.
So you saw Cygnus, we flew the robotic arm out and grabbed Cygnus, right? But this is SpaceX cargo and it's totally different. It's 100% automated. So we're watching it on board and we can send it away if it looks bad, but other than that, it docks all by itself. And then we open the hatches, and it is all hands on deck to get all that cargo out of the spacecraft and back to work.
To look at the hatchway, we can see all 4 of our crew members actually suited up and ready to go.
I will say that watching these guys go home was a challenging day, not because I was still stuck there, but just thinking like, man, there's no way that I'm going to be able to replace this amazing crew. We had a great time.
To be honest, you know, Expedition 68 wasn't over until Frank came
Obviously,
home
that
at the end
means
of
right
69.
leg middle, that's crew driving.
That was a really hard day for
Coming
us.
home
It
after
didn't feel quite right to be
100
undocking
and
with
57
Frank,
days
out
in
of
space.
a vehicle that
Main
would work
chute
with us.
descent rate nominal.
I started to think it was me because everybody kept leaving me.
Dragon splashdown. Names have been released.
Dragon bracer capsule left.
There it is, side hatch open.
Dragon Endurance, on behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
And a view of Frank Rubio, soon to depart the International Space Station.
This was a good moment right here. That's when it finally became real. So, again, it was an amazing year up there. I had an amazing time, but I was ready to get home. And undocking was really a pretty special moment. And then coming back through the atmosphere, I don't, Koichi, you've done this many times, but it just seems like that would never get old. The cool thing about being up there is it also lets you appreciate how adaptive our bodies are. And it's, you know, I don't know that there's that big of a difference between 6 and 12 months, but you really...
You keep saying there is.
Yeah. But you just become so used to living in space, and then when you get back, it really is quite a challenge. But our ACERs, which are essentially our fitness advisors, keep us in such strong shape that within 48 hours, you're feeling pretty well. That's really 100% due to the fact that they just have a very good strength and conditioning program for us up there.